Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching the India NewsHour. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up over the next 1 hour. In a boost to infrastructure in the National Capital Region, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates two major national highway projects aimed at providing multimodal connectivity and to decongest Delhi. India's Election Commission rubbishes the opposition's charge of fraud in Special Intensive Revision or SIR in electoral rolls, saying that the poll panel cannot discriminate among political parties and is committed to upholding its constitutional duty of ensuring free and fair elections. Another cloudburst in Jammu and Kashmir, 4 killed in Kathua's Janglod area, major infrastructure damaged. Rescue operations are underway. And the EU's Ursula von der Leyen says she'll now join Zelenskyy along with other European leaders during his Washington visit on Monday to meet Donald Trump. First up, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday inaugurated two major national highway projects worth a combined cost of nearly 11,000 crore Indian rupees in Delhi. The projects include the 10.1 kilometer long Delhi section of the Dwarka Expressway and the Urban Extension Road 2, developed under the government's comprehensive plan to decongest the capital city. This is likely to greatly improve connectivity, cutting travel time and reducing traffic in the surrounding areas as well. The Prime Minister also inaugurated the Alipur to Dichaukala stretch of the Urban Extension Road 2 along with new links to Bahadurgarh and Sonipat. Now this will ease traffic on Delhi's inner and outer ring roads and other busy points. Prime Minister Modi also witnessed an exhibition which was put up about the projects inaugurated. And earlier, Prime Minister Modi also interacted with the construction workers of the Delhi section of the Dwarka Expressway and the Urban Extension Road 2. And the PM also received a grand welcome by supporters as he reached the venue for the inauguration ceremony. And the day's proceedings also saw Prime Minister Modi addressing a gathering on the occasion. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta and Haryana Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini were also present on the occasion. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Modi said that the country's capital Delhi is witnessing a development revolution, while also mentioning that Delhi should emerge as a symbol of developing India.
दुनिया जब भारत को देखती है, परखती है, तो उसकी पहली नजर हमारी राजधानी पर पड़ती है, हमारी दिल्ली पर पड़ती है। इसलिए दिल्ली को हमें विकास का ऐसा मॉडल बनाना है जहां सभी को महसूस हो कि हां, ये विकसित होते भारत की राजधानी है। साथियों, बीते 11 साल से केंद्र में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने इसके लिए अलग अलग स्तरों पर निरंतर काम किया है। यहां नमो भारत जैसा आधुनिक रैपिड रेल सिस्टम है, यानी बीते 11 वर्षों में दिल्ली एनसीआर में आना जाना पहले के मुकाबले आसान हुआ है। साथियों, दिल्ली को बेहतरीन शहर बनाने का जो बीड़ा हमने उठाया है वो निरंतर जारी है।
Further, speaking on the cleanup of River Yamuna, Prime Minister Modi said that about 16 lakh metric tons of silt has been removed from the river bed.
यहां पास में ही भलसवा लैंडफिल पास साइट है। यहां आसपास जो परिवार रहते हैं उनके लिए कितनी समस्या है ये हम सभी जानते हैं। हमारी सरकार ऐसी हर परेशानी से दिल्ली वालों को मुक्ति दिलाने में जुटी हुई है। साथियों, मुझे खुशी है कि रेखा गुप्ता जी के नेतृत्व में दिल्ली की भाजपा सरकार यमुना जी की सफाई में भी लगातार जुटी हुई है। मुझे बताया गया कि यमुना से इतने कम समय में 16 लाख मैट्रिक टन सिल्ट हटाई जा चुकी है। इतना ही नहीं, बहुत कम समय में ही दिल्ली में 650 देवी इलेक्ट्रिक बसें शुरू की गई है।
Also addressing the event, Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari highlighted Prime Minister Modi's roadmap, which aims to reduce the cost of logistics to the nation.
अगर मैं ये कहूंगा कि दिल्ली की 50% ट्रैफिक जाम की समस्या ये UR2 और द्वारका एक्सप्रेस हाईवे के कारण अगर कम होगी तो मुझे लगता है आश्चर्य नहीं होगा। इन प्रोजेक्ट्स को हमने दिल्ली से जो अलग अलग जगह से भी जोड़ा है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो रोड मैप दिया है उसमें लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट को कम करना है। हमारे देश की लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट 14 से 16% है, चाइना की लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट 8% है और यूरोपियन और अमेरिका की ये 12% है।
India's Foreign Secretary Vikram has arrived in Nepal's capital Kathmandu on Sunday morning. The Indian Foreign Secretary is on a 2-day official visit to Nepal at the invitation of his counterpart Amrit Bahadur Rai. The Foreign Secretary called on Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli in Singh Darbar today. He is also to call on President of Nepal Ramchandra Paudel later this very day. The Foreign Secretary will also meet Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba, Leader of Opposition in Parliament Pushp Kamal Dahal and Foreign Minister Arzu Rana Deuba on Sunday. Now, during his visit, the Indian Foreign Secretary is expected to discuss with his counterpart issues to enhance areas of bilateral cooperation in border security, air flights and power sector. Well, India and Nepal share strong and friendly ties which have seen concrete progress in recent years in diverse areas of cooperation. India attaches high priority to its relations with Nepal under its Neighbourhood First policy. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang will be on a 2-day visit to India starting Monday. Member of the Politburo of the Communist Party of China and the Chinese FM is visiting India at the invitation of National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. During his visit, Wang will hold the 24th round of the Special Representatives' talks on the India-China boundary question with India's Special Representative NSA Ajit Doval. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will also hold a bilateral meeting with his Chinese counterpart in New Delhi. And Dr. Jaishankar also held talks with his South Korean counterpart Cho Hyun in New Delhi on Saturday. Discussions focused on advancing bilateral cooperation in trade, manufacturing, maritime and people-to-people exchanges, as well as new opportunities in artificial intelligence, semiconductors, clean energy and defense. Dr. Jaishankar thanked South Korea for its condemnation of the terror attack in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir.
I also want to express our gratitude for the ROK's condemnation of the terrorist attack which took place in Pahalgam on 22nd of April, and the fact that when our parliamentary delegation went to Seoul, I think they got very good meetings. You yourself made an effort to meet them. It's something which we appreciate.
And the South Korean Foreign Minister said his country is firmly committed to strengthening ties with India.
Minister, President Lee Jae-myung of our country is firmly committed to strengthening ties with your great country. This was emphasized, as you said, during the summit in Canada, and he personally asked me to convey the best regards to Prime Minister Modi ji.
For 8 years, Akshay Sharma, a young boy from a poor family in Duggan village of Jammu and Kashmir, lived in silence. Born with a cleft lip and palate, he underwent surgery at the age of 3 but still could not speak. His parents, struggling with poverty and unable to afford treatment, had almost lost hope of ever hearing their son's voice. But everything changed when an army doctor serving in the area came across Akshay. Moved by the family's struggle, he carried out basic checkups and found that with proper therapy, the boy could learn to talk. Patiently, he taught him sounds, then words, and finally, simple sentences. After months of practice, Akshay began to speak with growing confidence. The first time he called out to his parents, their eyes welled up with tears. For them, it was not just a sound, it was a miracle. Now, with an aim to boost cruise tourism, the West Indian city of Mumbai will host a conference titled Waterways to Wonder, Unlocking Cruise Tourism on Monday. The conference will be organized by the Mumbai Port Trust in collaboration with the Indian Waterways Authority of India and the Indian Ports Association. The day-long event will focus on the potential of cruise tourism in India and highlight policy initiatives, best practices and strategies for growth. The conference will feature presentations, panel discussions and addresses by dignitaries from India's Tourism Ministry, Maharashtra Tourism Development Corporation and other stakeholders. The event will also showcase the achievements and reforms in tourism and ferries through a presentation by Navik Cell 4. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. Canadian government moves to end Air Canada strike, seeks binding arbitration.
Near the heart of India, a land filled with surprises. In the mighty force of your waters, you hold the deepest secrets that take us back in time. When it's said that the gods walk this land, this is where we feel the warmth of your faces. See hands that mold life. While embracing change, you grow. In you is the land that gives, creates, nurtures, grows, and builds. It's all in you. Come, experience Chhat.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India NewsHour. I am Gautam Roy. Now, amid special intensive revision or the seer of voter lists in Bihar, the Election Commission of India has held a press conference in Delhi. The ECI has emphasized the importance of voter registration and participation for all eligible citizens aged 18 and above. Speaking at the press conference, Chief Election Commissioner Ganesh Kumar said that the special intensive revision process has begun in Bihar and around 1.6 lakh booth-level agents have prepared draft voter lists at every booth.
SIR की प्रक्रिया में सभी मतदाता, बूथ लेवल ऑफिसर्स और सभी राजनीतिक दलों द्वारा नामित 1.6 लाख BLAs ने मिलकर एक प्रारूप सूची तैयार की है। इस प्रारूप सूची में त्रुटियां हटाने के लिए एक बार फिर निर्धारित समय परिधि में सभी मतदाता और राजनीतिक दल मिलकर अपना बहुमूल्य योगदान दे रहे हैं।
Now, India's space hero Shubhanshu Shukla returned to India in the early hours of Sunday after his historic visit to the International Space Station. Shukla, who splashed down off the coast of California on the 15th of July after an 18-day stay aboard the ISS, was received at Delhi airport by a host of ministers, ISRO chief and students. Shukla's backup, astronaut Prashant Balkrishnan Nair, also returned to home soil.
India's space glory touches Indian soil. As the proud son of Mother India, astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla landed in Delhi in the early hours of Sunday morning amid applause, pride and patriotism. His return was marked by a tearful reunion with his family and a special distinction for his wife Kamna Shukla, who became the first Indian woman to ever take a call from space. Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, ISRO Chairman Dr. V. Narayanan and Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta joined in to honour the astronaut whose journey to the International Space Station etched a new milestone in India's space story. Accompanying him was another equally accomplished Group Captain Prashant Balakrishnan Nair, who was India's designated backup for the mission to the International Space Station. Nair was one of the astronauts selected for India's first human mission, Gaganyaan. Notably, the lower house of India's Parliament, or the Lok Sabha, will hold a special discussion on India's space journey and Shukla's historic mission aboard ISS on Monday. The House will debate on India's first astronaut aboard the ISS, the critical role of space program for Viksit Bharat by 2047. Overall, Shukla brings back more than memories. His training at NASA, Axiom and SpaceX facilities, along with his mission experience at the ISS, will power India's next giant leap into space, the Gaganyaan human spaceflight mission set for 2027. Shubhanshu Shukla's return is not just the homecoming of a hero, it's the beginning of India's bold new era in space exploration. With Tapas Bhattacharya, Tanvi Taneja for DD India.
US President Donald Trump has dropped his push for a ceasefire in Ukraine in favor of pursuing a full peace accord. This is a major shift announced hours after his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, yielding no clear breakthrough. Prior to the high-stakes meeting in Alaska, securing an immediate cessation of hostilities had been a core demand of Donald Trump. He had even threatened severe consequences on Russia and European leaders. The shift away from ceasefire would seem to favor Putin, who has long argued for negotiations on a final peace deal. But Ukraine and its European allies have criticized the strategy as a way to buy time and press Russia's battlefield advances. Trump spoke with Zelenskyy and European leaders on his flight back to Washington, saying afterward that it was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement which would end the war. In the call, Trump expressed support for a proposal by Putin to take full control of two largely Russian-held Ukrainian regions, Donetsk and Lugansk, in exchange for freezing the front line in Black Sea port region of Kherson and Zaporizhia. But Zelenskyy has refused to leave Donbass. The main diplomatic focus now switches to Zelensky's talks at the White House on Monday. A number of European leaders have also been invited to attend. And the leaders of France, Britain and Germany are due to host a video call on Sunday for their so-called coalition of the willing to discuss the way forward. Though the conflict in Ukraine rages on, with Kyiv announcing Saturday that Russia had launched 85 attack drones and a ballistic missile during the night. In a statement earlier, they welcomed the plan for a Trump-Putin-Zelensky summit, that is the coalition of the willing, but added that they would maintain pressure on Russia in the absence of a ceasefire. Trump notably also said the United States was prepared to provide Ukraine security guarantees, an assurance German Chancellor Friedrich Merz hailed as significant progress. Merz said Trump had indicated that Russia seemed ready to negotiate based on the front lines of the conflict rather than the borders of Ukrainian regions, it claims.
Jetzt soll es weitere Gespräche geben am Montag in Washington zwischen Präsident Trump und Präsident Zelenskyy. Dann möglichst bald ein trilaterales Treffen, also mit den drei Präsidenten Trump, Zelenskyy, Putin, um dann ein schnelles Abkommen herbeizuführen. Wenn das gelingt, ist das mehr wert als ein Waffenstillstand, der möglicherweise über Wochen andauert, ohne weitere Fortschritte in den politischen, diplomatischen Bemühungen.
And the latest is that European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has said in a post on X that she will be meeting US President Donald Trump along with other European leaders in the White House on Monday at the request of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. She also said that she will welcome Zelenskyy in Brussels later on Sunday and together will participate in a meeting of European leaders. Other European leaders include French President Emmanuel Macron. NATO chief will also be part of the meeting. And Germany's Chancellor will also join the Ukrainian President and the European Commission President for the talks in Washington, D.C. And back in Moscow, Putin has said his summit talks with Trump had been timely and very useful. In a televised meeting of senior officials in the Kremlin, Putin said Russia respected the U.S.'s position on the Ukraine conflict, while he said Moscow seeks to end it peacefully. In his post-summit statement in Alaska, Putin had warned Ukraine and European countries not to engage in any behind-the-scenes intrigues that could disrupt what he called this emerging progress.
We talked about almost all areas of our cooperation. But first of all, of course, we talked about possible settlement of Ukrainian crisis on a fair basis. And of course, we had the opportunity, which we did, to talk about the genesis, cause of this crisis, and it is the elimination of these root causes that should be the basis for a settlement.
Let's get you an update from North America, where Air Canada has said it will resume flying on Sunday after the government ordered an end to a strike by 10,000 flight attendants that effectively shut down the country's largest airline and snared summer travel. The Canadian Industrial Relations Board directed Air Canada to resume airline operations and for all Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge flight attendants to resume their duties by 1400 EDT on the 17th of August 2025. That's what the airline said in a statement. It added that flights would resume their evening with gradual ramp up over the coming days. Protesters marched to Washington, D.C. on Saturday to express their anger following the federalization of the city's police and the deployment of the National Guard. Several thousand protesters marched through downtown D.C. to the White House behind a giant banner that read, "Trump must go now." And many held up signs reading, "Hands off D.C." Earlier this week, President Trump had said he was deploying hundreds of National Guard troops to Washington and temporarily taking over the city's police department to curb what he depicted as a crime and homelessness emergency in the nation's capital. The protesters reached the National Mall, then were ushered back from a contingent of National Guard troops by DC police officers. Bolivia is set to hold its general election on the 17th of August with just over 7.9 million Bolivians eligible to cast their ballots. Final preparations had been underway as election officials across the country secured voting materials and polling stations. In Villa Tunari, El Chapare, soldiers stood guard as electoral officials unloaded ballot boxes and election materials from buses. The country's deep economic crisis is top of the mind for voters amidst inflation and fuel shortages. The election comes amid unprecedented political fragmentation. President Luis Arce has opted not to run for re-election, and the Constitutional Court ruling in May barred former President Evo Morales from participating. Bolivians will cast ballots for 36 Senate seats and 130 positions in the Chamber of Deputies in addition to the presidential race. The presidential and legislative winners will all take office on the 8th of November. Thousands of Hondurans took to the streets in more than 50 cities across the country on Saturday for what's been dubbed as an extensive prayer for Honduras ahead of November presidential elections. In the capital city of Tegucigalpa, demonstrators marched carrying Honduran flags while praying for peace and fair elections. The prayer mobilization comes as Hondurans prepare to elect a new president on the 30th of November amid growing political tensions. In recent weeks, the three main political parties have engaged in a series of accusations against each other, contributing to an atmosphere of uncertainty and distrust among the electorate. Now let's take you across to West Asia, where in Israel, protesters gathered at the Hostage Square in Tel Aviv on Saturday, calling for the return of all the hostages. The families were joined by the family of hostage Bipin Joshi, a citizen of Nepal, kidnapped from Kibbutz Arumim on the 7th of October. The hostage families are calling for a nationwide strike on Sunday in an effort to further urge the government to bring back their relatives. There are 50 hostages still held in Gaza, of whom Israeli officials believe 20 are alive. Most of those freed so far emerged as a result of diplomatic negotiations. Now, Gaza residents will be provided with tents and other shelter equipment starting from Sunday ahead of relocating them from combat zones to the south of the enclave to ensure their safety. The Israeli military said this after Israel said it intended to launch a new offensive to seize control of northern Gaza city. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu last Sunday said that before launching the offensive, the civilian population will be evacuated to what he described as safe zones from Gaza city, which he called Hamas's last stronghold. The shelter equipment will be transferred via the Kerem Shalom crossing in southern Gaza by the United Nations and other international relief organizations after being inspected by Defense Ministry personnel. Meanwhile, South Sudan and Israel are discussing a deal to resettle Palestinians from conflict-torn Gaza in the troubled African nation. The plan was quickly dismissed as unacceptable by Palestinian leaders. The sources who have knowledge of the matter but spoke on condition of anonymity said no agreement had been reached, but talks between South Sudan and Israel have been ongoing. The plan, if carried out further, would envisage people moving from the ill-fated enclave to a nation in the heart of Africa riven by years of political and ethnically driven violence. The U.S. State Department on Saturday said it was halting all visitor visas for individuals from Gaza while it conducts a full and thorough review. The department said a small number of temporary medical humanitarian visas had been issued in recent days but did not provide a figure. The U.S. issued more than 3,800 B1 and B2 visitor visas, which permit foreigners to seek medical treatment in the United States, to holders of the Palestinian Authority travel document so far in 2025. That figure includes 640 visas issued in May. The PA issues such travel documents to residents of the Israel-occupied West Bank and the Gaza Strip. The State Department's move to stop visitor visas for people from Gaza comes after Laura Loomer, a far-right activist and an ally of President Donald Trump, said on social media on Friday that the Palestinian refugees had entered the U.S. this month. Let's now get you some weather updates. First from India. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places over Maharashtra, Konkan, Goa and Telangana on Sunday. Extreme rain is to persist over some parts of coastal Karnataka, south interior Karnataka, west Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat tomorrow. India's national capital, Delhi, is also expected to witness light rainfall conditions over the next 2 to 3 days. In Jammu and Kashmir, at least 4 people died after another incident of cloudburst hit the North Indian Union Territory on Sunday. The latest incident took place in Janglod area of Kathua district on Sunday morning. Apart from casualties, damage has taken place to the railway track and national highway, while police station Kathua has also been impacted. After receiving information about the cloudburst, Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh spoke to senior police officials of Kathua district and inquired about the incident. The minister expressed condolences to the families of the deceased. The minister, in a social media post, said the civilian administration, military and paramilitary have swung into action and the situation is being continuously monitored. In another post, the Union Minister informed that helicopter services have been arranged for shifting the injured to appropriate hospitals. 6 injured have been airlifted to the nearest hospitals in Mamoon, Pathankot for treatment. He added that further assistance will be arranged as and when required. Meanwhile, DIG Police, along with his team, is camping at the spot and is in constant touch with the Union Minister. Now, rescue and relief operations at Jammu and Kashmir's Chashoti village in Kishtwar district, where cloudburst caused massive devastation on Thursday, continues on war footing despite certain challenges. The death toll in the tragedy mounted to 58, while more than 75 people are still missing. Over 400 Jawans of Army, NDRF, SDRF, CRPF, JNK Police, GRAF, BRO and volunteers from a few NGOs from Kishtwar and Doda, besides 28 machines, have been involved in the major joint rescue operation, while senior officers are constantly camping at the site and closely supervising the operation as well. Let me now go across to my colleague Shabir Dar, who is joining us from Srinagar for more on this. Shabir, good evening to you. Very tragic incident, another such incident at such close proximity to the previous one. Just tell us what is the latest in terms of how the effort is going to ensure that missing persons are found?
Yeah, it is the 4th day, of the search in Kashtwar, where the cloudburst hit on, on 14th of August, and which resulted in the flash floods, and there was a huge and heavy destruction, including like killing of people and injured to many. And in just 4 days' time, today in the morning, we had the news of another cloudburst in Kathua district of Jammu and Kashmir, in the remote villages of Kathua, where 4 people are reported to be, have died, and another 6 people have injured or been shifted to the hospital for their treatment. Administration is making a real effort. Helicopter services have been, pressed into service to evacuate the injured from these far-off villages which were hit by the cloudburst in the previous night. The Union Minister Jitendra Singh has spoken to the top officials of Kathua district, ensuring that the relief and rescue operation is is swift, and people who are injured are not left there, and proper treatment is being given to them. One more thing is that the village in the Kathua, they were cut off and these the bridge is the makeshift bridge is being connected to ensure that the village is connected, because there was huge damage to the road connectivity to some residential houses, and a police station was also affected. And now in Kishtwar, where there was a major tragedy, around 60 people have died in that incident, and over 70 people are still missing, and the rescuers are having tough time to retrieve the bodies of all those people, because it is the fourth day, and the chances of anyone among them surviving is less. So authorities have pressed into service JCBs and other heavy machinery to remove the debris from the area, so that the bodies who are believed to be buried under debris are removed from that. So 400 people of NDRF, SDRF, Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police, volunteers from different NGOs are engaged in the rescue operation in Chastul village of the Kishtwar, because Chastul is Chasoti village is the last motorable village to the road to Machel Mata Yatra, which is up in the up in the mountains from Machel, from this Chashoti, some 8 kilometers from Chashoti. So the people who are gathered there on 14th of August in the afternoon, there was a langar area and some small temples, because from there onwards the people will go up trek to the Machel temple. So on that particular day, as we know, that this cloudburst hit, and which resulted into flash floods, swept away the entire langar area, which was crowded by over 300 people. And some people were doing puja in the makeshift temples there.
Right.
So now the biggest challenge for the authorities is to to brace the weather, because weather is a bit flaky there, because it gets intermittent rains at times, and which creates hurdles in the rescue operation. But now the army has put into service the sniffer dogs also, and a Bailey bridge is being erected there to ensure connectivity between the temple and the village, because a lot of people are still uphill in the temple, and they need to be brought back from that area. So that makes that Bailey bridge is being constructed by the Indian Army. Plus there are giant boulders, and it is feared that some bodies are buried beneath these boulders, and now a controlled blasting is being executed to break these huge boulders into pieces, so that the rescuers can manage to remove any body under the debris, which is believed to be which is feared some bodies might be buried under those giant boulders. So definitely a big challenge for the rescuers and the administration, and now administration is putting in all efforts on war-footing basis, including pressing into service JCBs, stone cutters, and other things are done to ensure that the rescue operation and the and the relief and rehabilitation process is carried out effectively.
But let's hope that they're successful in finding more survivors, and of course this work is not hampered further due to bad weather. Thanks a lot for joining us from Srinagar, Shabir Dar. Now, Hurricane Erin has been downgraded from Category 5 to Category 4, with maximum sustained winds decreasing to 140 miles per hour from 160 miles per hour. The storm is currently located about 395 miles east of Grand Turk Island and is moving west-northwest at nearly 14 miles per hour. A turn northwards is expected on Monday or Tuesday. Now, the Bahamas, which provide some meteorological services for the Turks and Caicos Islands, issued a tropical storm watch for the British Islands to its southeast. Heavy rainfall is expected through Sunday across the northern Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Wildfire risks possible if human-caused sparks ignite parched vegetation and strong dry winds fan the flames. A flash flood in northern China's Inner Mongolia killed 8 people and left 4 missing on Sunday. Search and rescue operations for the missing are still underway, though one person has been pulled out. Now, according to reports, the flood took place on Saturday night, washing away 13 people on a camping trip. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world. Well, people gathered on the streets of Belgium to make a traditional giant omelette with thousands of eggs on Assumption Day. The idea of cooking up an enormous omelette is dated back to the 9th century, in the time of William I of the Duchy of Aquitaine. Further, Bessires kicked off the tradition in 1973 with Malmedy and other towns in Argentina, Canada and France and the US joining in. In the US, activists and advocates gathered at Friendship Park on the US-Mexico border for an anniversary celebration. A powerful performance took place on both sides of the wall, emphasizing unity. Despite the materialization and construction of border wall, activists continue to celebrate Friendship Park. Originally created for families and communities to meet, the park remains a symbol of binational unity and collaborations. Indonesia marks its 80th Independence Day on Sunday with a ceremony attended by President Prabowo Subianto. Celebrated annually on the 17th of August, the day is a monumental occasion that marks the nation's liberation from colonial rule in 1945. It is a profound celebration of freedom, unity and national pride for Indonesians.
Susunan senantiasa memiliki semangat juang.
Now, the World Humanoid Robot Games underway in Beijing, where robots of various shapes and sizes are showing their sporting skills by competing in different sports. Some robots showcase their flexibility and coordination in a martial arts competition, while a humanoid robot claimed the gold medal in the 400-meter race. Some robots even mesmerized onlookers with their stunning high jump skills. The 2025 World Humanoid Robot Games attracted 280 teams from 16 countries, including the United States, Germany and Italy. Now, as India celebrated its independence on the 15th of August, the country's embassy in Switzerland and Liechtenstein also marked the occasion by hosting guests from diverse walks of life. During the program, Ambassador Mridul Kumar echoed Prime Minister Modi's Independence Day message of developing India into a modern economy across all sectors to realize the vision of a developed nation by 2047. The ambassador also highlighted India's vision of partnering with like-minded countries to foster deeper cooperation. Around 50,000 people gathered in Leh in Ladakh as spiritual leader Dalai Lama's teachings and prayers began on Saturday. He expressed his admiration for India, suggesting that those of us who live here should be delighted at the freedom we enjoy here. He also added that India is a land where many religious traditions flourish. It's a place where harmony prevails. The essence of religious practice is to be kind and non-violent, doing no harm to others. Therefore, India should do what it can to establish peace in the world. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the country as well. Heavy rain lashed Assam's capital Guwahati in the early hours on Sunday. Waterlogging after the sudden rain disrupted normal life in many sectors of the city, causing major inconvenience to residents and disrupting early morning traffic. Manipur Governor Ajay Kumar Bhalla has been given additional charge as Nagaland's governor by President Draupadi Murmu. He was appointed just after the demise of former Governor La Ganesan, who passed away on the 15th of August in Chennai at the age of 80. India's Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan visited IIT Delhi and interacted with students on the importance of achieving self-reliance. The session was followed by breakfast and engaging discussions after which the minister said that he can see a golden future being created on the shoulders of India's youth in the coming 20 to 25 years. Now, the entire Braj Mandal in Uttar Pradesh's Mathura rose in joy on the second day of celebrations of Lord Krishna's birth anniversary. The fest, known as Nandotsav, is being celebrated with great fervour in Gokul Dham. The three-day event at Nandakila and Nandamahal began with great enthusiasm. The atmosphere in the town of Gokul is filled with energy and celebrations, and people are full of excitement with all devotees dancing to devotional songs related to Lord Krishna. A procession was also taken out where devotees assembled with Lord Krishna's gifts in Prasad, which they consider as the blessings of the Lord. And still to come in this edition of DD India NewsHour. Defending champion Yannick Sinner will face Carlos Alcaraz in the Cincinnati Open 2025 final on Tuesday. Welcome back. You're watching DD India NewsHour. I am Gautam Roy. Now, one of the greatest classics, Sholay, completed 50 years, marking half a century of its timeless legacy in Indian cinema. The film continues to captivate audiences with its iconic characters, dialogues and storytelling even today. Veteran filmmaker Ramesh Sippy, while speaking with DD India on the 50th anniversary of Sholay, recalled the immense passion and teamwork that went into making the movie, which has now become a timeless classic of Indian cinema. He also shared anecdotes from behind-the-scenes shots and his unforgettable experience of bringing the epic to life. Shama Mishra spoke with him.
50 years ago, India saw its greatest film, Sholay, and it has been an inspiration since then for many movies and movie makers, not just in India, but across the world. We have filmmaker, the director of Sholay, Ramesh Sippy, the visionary who was behind the making of this film. Sir, many congratulations for 50 years. Looking back after 50 years, what do you think is the secret behind the timelessness of the movie Sholay?
As a movie maker, I can only do my best in my capacity to try and make a film that works in every way, which I did. The overwhelming success that it has received is something beyond all calculation and imagination. I think it's a combination of factors. I had some very, very fine actors with me, fine technicians. We had the help of some technicians from abroad for our action work, and then the finishing of the film, the post-production. A lot of work was done in Mumbai, but a lot of work was done in England. Life is about you learn and you do something with that learning, as I did from my earlier films, and then put it into your next work. So, and I'm so happy that today, on Independence Day, we celebrate 50 years of Sholay as well.
There are many filmmakers who cite Sholay as their inspiration. What part, what aspect of Sholay do you think has influenced the Indian cinema the most?
If it's an inspiration, I'm very happy. I am eternally grateful to all these people, from all my actors, all my technicians, and I wish some of them, Sanjeev Kumar and Amjad Khan, are not with us, unfortunately, but everyone contributed in a very big way.
Lastly, sir, how would you say that the world is looking up to India in terms of filmmaking 50 years ago and now?
I'm sure there can be no doubt that India, it's heading for number 3 in the economy. To become number 3 in the world, that means you have the potential, you have people who are educated in all fields, you have and a huge market with so many, the number of people we have may be disadvantageous in some ways, but a huge market for all the product that is produced in the country. So I think it augurs well for India, and we should be on our paths to better days. They're already getting so good. Now let it get better. We'll all be happy to be part of that progress.
Thank you very much for talking to us, sir. So that was Ramesh Sippy talking all about the memories, the movie in making, how it went and how it came out to be a masterpiece. With camera person Kapil Maske, this is Shyama Mishra for DD India, Mumbai.
Evergreen Sholay. Now time to get you some sports as well. And tennis first, defending champion Jannik Sinner will be facing Carlos Alcaraz in the Cincinnati Open 2025 final on Tuesday. Second seeds Carlos Alcaraz defeated Alexander Zverev to reach the finals, while Jannik Sinner triumphed over Terence Atmane. The Cincinnati Open final match will mark their 4th consecutive meeting in a tournament final. Sinner won their most recent encounter at Wimbledon, where the Italian defeated Alcaraz in 4 sets to lift the trophy. Overall, Carlos Alcaraz leads the ATP head-to-head series 8-5. The final will see the two stars renew their rivalry once again in a blockbuster clash. With the objective of creating awareness towards fitness, the 36th edition of Fit India Sundays on Cycle was organized at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Delhi. Thousands of cyclists and fitness enthusiasts joined hands with the National Cadet Corps in the 36th edition of the event. NCC cadets who participated in this edition raised the slogans of Fit India with unity and discipline. The Fit India campaign, which began last year, is showing its impact across the country. This campaign is not only spreading awareness about fitness, but also promoting cycling culture in society.
हमने इस साइकिलिंग को आगे लेते हुए काफ़ी सारी एक्टिविटीज़ इसमें ऐड की है, जैसे जुम्बा, योगा, रोप स्किपिंग, बैडमिंटन, चेस, टेबल टेनिस, ताकि जो फैमिलीज़ बच्चों के साथ आते हैं, पार्टिसिपेंट्स के साथ आते हैं, ना कि वो साइकिलिंग करें बल्कि बाकी सारी एक्टिविटीज़ में भी पार्टिसिपेट करें। हमारा ये 36th एडिशन था जो कि एनसीसी के साथ हम सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, ना कि दिल्ली में बल्कि देश के कई अन्य जगहों पे भी ये साइकिल।
I was like surprised. Public are coming and doing participate with the cycling with us and doing Zumba dance and more skipping zone. So many, not only cycling, they're doing participate in so many physical activities here. So it's very important and helpful for people to stay fit and pollution free.
This is very good initiative. We really like it. We had a lot of fun here and we would like to come again.
I really enjoyed a lot. It's one of the best memories you will make. अपनी families के साथ आओ, cycling करो. It will also improve your health.
India's Priya Yadav, Geeta Yadav and Ritu Yadav brought glory to the nation by winning bronze medals at the Australian Open and the WT President's Cup Oceania Taekwondo Championship 2025. The championship took place from the 13th to the 17th of this month at the Gold Coast in Australia, where the trio secured bronzes in poolside team category. The sisters have previously won several medals at both national and international levels. They won 2 golds and 1 silver in 3 international competitions held in Australia. Recently, Geeta Yadav and Ritu Yadav achieved 7th place at the World University Games held in Germany. Harry Kane and Luis Diaz scored as Bayern Munich beat Stuttgart 2-1 to lift the German Super Cup for the 10th time. Michael Olise and Kane combined to score the opener in the 18th minute. Kane collected Olise's pass and hit a low shot into the bottom corner of the goal post. In the second half, Diaz headed the ball into the goal post from close range with 13 minutes left. However, Stuttgart pulled a goal back in the stoppage time to make the score 2-1. The win netted Kane a second team trophy of his career after the 32-year-old won the Bundesliga Cup last season. Manchester City signalled their intent to take back the Premier League title as Erling Haaland struck twice in a 4-0 win against Wolves to begin their campaign. New signings Tijjani Reinders and Ryan Cherki netted debut goals for Pep Guardiola's revamped team. They hope this will be the first step towards improving on last season's disappointing campaign. After 4 consecutive titles, City finished a distant third last season as they failed to win any trophy for the first time in 8 years. Meanwhile, Barcelona cruised to a 3-0 win against Mallorca in their opening La Liga game of the season as England forward Marcus Rashford made his debut. Raphinha headed home after 7 minutes and Ferran Torres doubled the lead in the 23rd minute to put the Spanish champions in command. Lamine Yamal found the top corner of the goal post to complete the visitors' comfortable win. So that's what has happened in the match. Manchester City signalled their intent to take back the Premier League title as Haaland, as I mentioned, struck twice in a 4-0 win against Wolves to begin the campaign. New signings, Tijjani Reinders and Ryan Cherki netted debut goals for Pep Guardiola's revamped team. And this, of course, has given them hope that this will be the first step towards improving in last season's disappointing campaign. After 4 consecutive titles, City finished a distant third last season as they failed to win any trophy for the first time in 8 years. Meanwhile, Barcelona cruised to a 3-0 win against Mallorca in their opening La Liga game of the season as England forward Marcus Rashford made his debut. Raphinha headed home after 7 minutes and Ferran Torres doubled the lead in the 23rd minute to put the Spanish champions in command. Lamine Yamal found the top corner of the goal post to complete the visitors' comfortable win. Now let's get you some more images of Prime Minister Modi's day earlier when he was inaugurating 2 key national highway projects in the national capital. He interacted with construction workers who worked on the Delhi section of the Dwarka Expressway and the Urban Extension Road too.
ये हमारा सौभाग्य जो हमें इतना बड़े प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करने का मौका मिला। आपके कारण सिर्फ लोगों की गाड़ी तेज चलती है ऐसा नहीं, देश की गाड़ी भी तेज चलती है। कितने समय से यहाँ जुड़े हैं?
मैं यहाँ 5 साल से जुड़ा हूँ।
5 साल?
जी सर।
पहले जब काम करते थे इसी प्रकार का काम करते होंगे पहले?
राइट सर।
तब के और इसमें अनुभव में क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
अनुभव में यह है, पहले क्या मैनुअली काम करते थे हम लोग,
हाँ,
तो जिसमें काफी समय लगता था। अभी कुछ मशीनरी आ गई हमारे पास नए जो काम को बहुत इजीली कर रहे हैं और हमें टाइम मिल रहा है कि और काम को हम आगे बढ़ा सकें।
आपने उत्तर प्रदेश के सिवाय
जी
कितने लोगों से दोस्ती बनाई?
सर यहाँ तो कई स्टेट से लोग आए हुए हैं। सबसे अपने जैसे कोई त्योहार रहता है तो त्योहार में हम सब अपने स्टाफ बैठ के
त्योहार मनाते हैं?
मनाते हैं हम लोग
अच्छा।
सब लोग यहीं साइड पे ही।
तो कल जन्माष्टमी मनाई?
मनाए हम लोग।
अच्छा,
जी सर, मेरा नाम ब्रजेश कुमार है। मैं बिहार सिवान का रहने वाला हूं सर।
सिवान से हैं?
जी सर।
अच्छा।
पिछले 6 साल से मैं काम कर रहा हूं इस प्रोजेक्ट में और बहुत अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट है ये। हमें बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला सर इस प्रोजेक्ट से।
आपकी पढ़ाई वगैरह क्या हुई?
मेरा पढ़ाई हुई है, ग्रेजुएशन हुई है सर।
ग्रेजुएशन हुआ
जी।
और यहाँ आपके जिम्मे क्या काम है?
सर मैं ये पूरा लेबर का मैनेजमेट देखता हूँ सर।
पहले चेन्नई में था उधर सर।
हाँ।
उधर भी काम किया। पहले
कितना समय चेन्नई में काम किया?
चेन्नई में सर 2-3 साल काम किया वो।
घर के लोग क्या कहते हैं? जब पहले तमिलनाडु में थे वहाँ इडली डोसा खाते
पहले तो बात नहीं होता था उतना।
पराठा खा रहे हो
सर पहले तो उतना बात नहीं होता। आप आने के बाद सर डिजिटल जमाना हो गया। अभी तो वीडियो कॉल और फोन पे भी बात होता है, तो अभी उतना अच्छा खराब नहीं लगता मन को। पहले बहुत खराब लगता था जब रेगुलर बात होता है सर वीडियो कॉल से।
बच्चों से बात करते हैं?
हाँ बात करता हूँ सर।
बच्चे पढ़ते हैं?
हाँ सर पढ़ता है।
क्या पढ़ते हैं?
सर मेरा बच्चा छोटा है सर, वो अभी UKG में है, उससे बात होता है, वीडियो कॉल में बात होता है सर।
उसका मन करता है कुछ अच्छा बनने का?
जरूर सर जरूर।
हाँ।
जरूर सर, वो आपका ही हमेशा वीडियो देखता है सर।
अच्छा, घर कब जाते हैं?
घर तो सर जब त्योहार आता है तभी जाते हैं।
अच्छा, तो अभी छठ पूजा के लिए चले जाएंगे?
छठ पूजा आता है तभी जाते हैं।
आप कहाँ से हैं?
मधुबनी।
मधुबनी। मधुबनी सब लोग बहुत प्यारा बोलते हैं, मिठा बोलते हैं ना?
जी सर, मैथिली बोलते हैं।
हाँ मैथिली बोलते हैं। सीता माता की भाषा है। हाँ। कोविड के समय क्या किया सबने?
हाँ सर, कोविड के टाइम में यहीं पे बुला लिया था हमें। पूरे मास्क के साथ सबको खाना पीना, सबको सैलरी भी दिया।
लेकिन घर वाले बड़े टेंशन में आ गए होंगे।
हाँ,
कोविड
सर।
का समय है।
जी सर।
सारी दुनिया बंद हो गई और आप मेहनत कर रहे हो।
सर ये हमारा सौभाग्य जो हमें इतना बड़े प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करने का मौका मिला। और सर सबसे ये है कि आपके साथ हमें एक बात करने का भी सौभाग्य।
चलिए, मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं आप सबको। और आप देख सकते हैं कि जब लोग इन सुविधा का उपयोग करते हैं, लोगों का कितना समय बचता है। और हमसे हमारे यहाँ कहते हैं ना, टाइम इज मनी। सबसे ज्यादा कीमती समय होता है।
जाम लगता था जी, हम कंक्रीट लेते थे तो बहुत जाम लगता था यहाँ।
तो आपके कारण सिर्फ लोगों की गाड़ी तेज चलती है ऐसा नहीं है, देश की गाड़ी भी तेज चलती है।
हाँ जी।
चलिए, आपका परिश्रम रंग ला रहा है। मेरी तरफ से बहुत शुभकामनाएं दोस्तों।
And that's all we have for this edition of DD India NewsHour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen and download the app. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and for all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India NewsHour.